So no feet finder for us.
No feet finder. I don't think either of us have the feet for it.
How do you know what my feet look like?
I have a pretty good idea. It's probably not feet finder.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Uncivilized-Investigations. Dave has a case for us tonight coming from
Helltown, Ohio, which is actually Boston, Ohio. That was originally founded in 1806, but there wasn't much...
There was nothing there.
There wasn't, like, a lot of information when it was 1806. It was more so, like, the settlers, and I think it was... the graveyard was established or something.
Always good to have one of those.
Or there was a building established, now that's the graveyard there, something along those lines.
It's always good to have a graveyard. Maybe they don't have skeletons just laying randomly around their woods.
Like in Verdansk.
Everywhere.
But in 1811, the township of Boston, Ohio was formally founded. The name was inspired by the settlers that had come from New England, hence Boston. The economy blew up with the construction of the Ohio and Erie Canal between 1825 and 1827. The canal provided a vital role in the transportation of goods and travelers through the region. And with the growth in the region, it drew in more farmers and workers to aid in the transport of lumber, flour, quarry, stone, bricks, and agricultural products to the markets in places like Cleveland and Akron. Basically, the canal was the
just like the Schuylkill Canal.
Yeah.
Locally for us.
Once the canal started, there was a boom in the area. In the 1850s, the village of Peninsula became the largest township. It was incorporated in 1859 and grew rapidly because of its location near the canal, where it was hosted of boatyards, dry docks, hotels, and saloons to accommodate the workers and travelers. In 1880, another major change was coming to the region with the construction of the Valley Railway, which would bring a large shift from the canal to the rails for the transportation needs. Both the canal and railway stayed in operation, but the canal began to decline. And I learned that it started to decline. What was more so keeping the canal in operation was the quarry products.
So the quarry started drying up, and so did the canal.
Well, there was still a lot of need for the quarry products being moved through the canal. But then, as I'll say, when concrete products started to become, is when the canal started to becoming even less used. But in 1913, a great flood caused massive damage to the canal system, destroying the aqueducts, washing out banks, caused reservoirs to spill, and causing damage to most of the locks. With the canal damaged and local quarries now closing due to the availability of concrete and concrete products, the town of Boston was in bad shape. The town basically just, from then, steadily declined until, all the residents there was no work, so they were all living there but commuting elsewhere for income. In the 1970s, the government decided that the land in the region would be well suited for the Cuyahoga Valley National Recreation Area.
I thought it was Quahog, like Family Guy.
I was trying to figure it out, and I was finally listening to something in Cuyahoga. Later, it was designated as the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. President Ford approved legislation to use eminent domain to purchase the parcels of land in the area, and his thought process was to protect against the deforestation and not losing natural resources. Other theories behind this was there was a chemical spill in the area that was attempted to be covered up just because they didn't want to go through the resources to...
Fun.
Make the area safe again.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. We'll get to that. Either way, residents of the area were not happy about the eminent domain being called. One resident actually left behind a message in their lawn he cut it like into the grass. He said, "Now we know how the Indians feel." The residents were forced out. However, the buildings were abandoned but left standing. And some of the reasons for the delays on turning it over into a national park were because of budgets, environmental impact studies, planning delays, and obviously bureaucratic inefficiency.
The government took over something and then it stalled?
I know.
I don't believe it.
I can't believe it either.
Maybe they could have stayed if they had to wear masks.
So after the town had been abandoned, it started to become legendary in the sense of lore, and everybody has a story as to what had happened. And that was when the name of Helltown gathered, just how it looked. I mean, I don't know how soon after it was emptied they called it Helltown, but it went from a town of residents and everything to just empty buildings and streets and houses. Some were boarded up, some weren't. Some of the buildings were demolished, others were boarded up, others just remained completely untouched, looked like as if homeowners were coming back home. Of one of the untouched buildings was the town's Presbyterian church, which was originally built in a Gothic revival style, and it displayed crosses upside down. It's like on the peak of the church.
Never heard of that before.
I didn't either. I thought that was pretty odd. But it was common. It wasn't like it was satanic or anything. It was for the Presbyterian. But that, because of the crosses and such, rumors started to come that the church was for followers of satanic practitioners who would stalk the streets and attempt to lure in visitors with their tales of sinister practices.
That's a good way to lure people in.
The rumor eventually led to legends of animal mutation and even human sacrifice. In everything I read, there was actually no confirmed cult activity, but there was a lot of rumored of cult activity.
That makes it a good cult then.
Exactly. Another one of the landmarks for the town was an abandoned school bus that was left to rust. Ghost hunters had claimed that they had witnessed the spirits of the school children inside the bus.
It was probably Ghost Adventures. They make things up all the time.
Is that the same one, the Taps?
No, that's Transatlantic Paranormal.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty decent.
They are.
Ghost Adventures is that, I can't remember his name. He gets possessed like every other episode.
Oh, I think you remember mentioning
Zach Baggins.
That, yeah.
That guy.
According to local legend, all of the children were murdered by a serial killer, and their spirits were never able to leave the bus. All of that with legend. There was no actual facts behind it, but it's a town named Helltown, so
gotta make up stories.
Why not?
Yeah, right.
Supposedly, if you were to look through the windows, you'd be able to see the children or the serial killer still sitting inside. Like their spirits.
Because the serial killer died on the bus, too?
Just telling you what I read.
People. Consistency.
All of this was legend, however, and the truth behind the bus is far less terrifying. Like the rest of the town, the bus was just abandoned. At one point, there was a family that was living in the bus, only because their home was being renovated and they had nowhere else to go.
Maybe they were serial killers.
Maybe they had to, clear out the bus. Another legend in Helltown was the Crybaby Bridge. According to lore, if you left your vehicle on the bridge and you walked off into the woods or something, because that sounds like a great thing to do in a place called Helltown.
Yeah. Let's wander off into the woods.
When
Did you hear that? Let's go investigate.
So we'll get to that.
Oh.
That was actually a thought for this.
Oh, okay.
Can't
wait.
When you returned back to your vehicle, you would find it covered in dust and children's footprints in the dust. Terrifying. If you listened closely and the area was quiet, you could also, what you think would be hearing is a crying baby who had been purposely thrown from the bridge.
Because it wouldn't stop crying.
However, if...
We do not condone child abuse.
No, it doesn't. We're not being a good sell for that in this episode. However, all across the United States, there are bridges with similar stories, so it doesn't make this exclusive.
Yeah, there's one in Downingtown, maybe?
Well, I think there's a new one. Isn't there a story of somebody got thrown off that bridge?
Oh, maybe.
Right down here?
I mean, in Reading, I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. There is an ominous legend of a chemical spill that impacted Helltown, which led to what locals had referred to as the Peninsula Python. That's your favorite. As the tale
That's my new
goes...
gamer name, Peninsula Python.
Speedy Sniper. As the tale goes...
You can change that.
Yeah, I'd have to play it more to change it, however.
You will.
As the tale goes, an ordinary snake suddenly grew to massive size and was terrorizing the region. The creature was never professionally observed, but the lack of evidence never steered people away from believing that this wasn't the real reason Boston was abandoned, and that the government was trying to cover up the chemical spill. Which, in reality, there were toxic chemicals that were found nearby in the Crichie dump, but that wasn't until the 80s, so a little less than 10 years after the town was abandoned.
And I really doubt it made a giant python.
In Ohio. if we're talking the Everglades,
maybe. Yeah, okay. That's
were,
also where the Ninja Turtles came from.
They were in New York City.
Yeah, but they started...
You need children.
They started in Boston, though, in the chemical spill. With the python.
Didn't they start from a rat named Splinter?
No, they started from a chemical spill.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How would a rat make turtles?
I don't. Don't they hang out with a rat in the sewers?
There's a rat named Splinter, but he didn't make them.
Well, all right.
Moving on.
Yeah, just how would a rat raise
turtles?
3 turtles to be like ninjas?
There was a chemical spill.
Okay, what are the odds that a talking rat finds 3 talking
I think the
turtles?
chemical spill also created the talking rat. I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe they had a pet python. Who knows?
Might have been in Ohio.
It could have.
There was no proof of these chemicals affecting people or humans.
What's the difference between
I
people
just
and a
wondered
human?
the same thing. That's why I kind of... Oh, people or animals. Animals.
Ah.
Rangers who had visited the dump site to, investigate it, they reported only typical illnesses and some slight rashes from the exposure. I'm not sure what a typical illness is for a chemical...
Or a slight rash. My skin's slightly peeling off over here. It's okay.
No need, it's a slight rash.
Yeah.
Another location within Helltown was known as the End of the World, which was the former section of Stanford Road. And it was called the End of the World because the road was very twisty and turny. And the grade changes, it had really steep inclines. And then I guess from what I was reading, one of the drops, it was almost like you were looking straight down. Given the impression that the cars were driving off of a cliff. There were some claims on this road that supernatural occurrences had happened, and other claims that the road was evil and caused deadly car crashes. I don't know how often there were more than one car driving on that road at a time, though.
How can a road be evil?
I mean, I've definitely hit some trees that I feel like that road's fault.
It wasn't the Miller Lite, it was the road.
It was Bud Light, right? Labatt, there's a mixture. I didn't write it down in this, but there was also stories of stray dogs in the town that would... I was actually listening to another podcast, I can't remember the name of it.
Turn into humans? An opposite of a werewolf?
They weren't skinwalkers.
Oh.
But I guess...
We should do an episode on the skinwalker.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I'll put one together.
Okay. But I was listening to the podcast, and it was a group of people from Ohio that before the town was demolished, they went there. I think this was in the early 2000s. And obviously town was empty, buildings are all decrepit. And they had a story about they went into a bank, and it was, I think, 4 of them together. And out of nowhere, from the back side of the bank where none of them were, they heard a steel, a filing cabinet drawer get slammed. And then when they left the bank, there was a stray dog just chilling there.
So it could have been a skinwalker.
Well, the stray dog beat feet out to the woods, and from what they said, they described it go out to the woods, and then they hear the sound of a dog violently being killed.
Oh!
Yeah. And there were also benches in the town. People were mentioning you could see apparitions sitting on the benches.
But nobody died there.
Supposedly nobody died there.
But yeah, I don't know.
Finally, I did one that's not just bones everywhere.
Well, that's true.
Some of these reasons we mentioned are likely the reason the town got the name of Helltown. The saddest part about the story, however, was the residents being forced out by the government, but not because of a supposed chemical spill, but the concerns about deforestation, which they did nothing about. I mean, it wasn't until 2016 when the last buildings were demolished. The residents who were forced out also witnessed the area being abandoned by the same that forced them out, with no real ambition on creating the natural space like they intended. Today is part of a historic district in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. There are some original buildings standing, one of which is the M&D Garage, which dates back to 1946. There are some foundations of original homes, and there's a church there, but I couldn't verify if it was the same Presbyterian church.
Satanic church?
I couldn't. I tried. It was just like the something community church.
I'll see if I can find a picture of it and throw it up.
But I couldn't find a reason to say it was the same church they talked about.
It's really weird how many towns there are like this, because there's one in Pottstown.
Yeah.
In Linfield.
Well, there's sections of towns that's like just, you go so far through a town it stops.
And it's just like dead.
I mean, that's, Centralia.
Well, that's not there anymore, but...
Oh, is that finally
most of those buildings are gone, yeah. But like Linfield, we've been there before. It's right off the Schuylkill River, and there are buildings that you can walk into. And I mean, now they've got vines and trees and shit growing through them. They're falling down.
Oh, there's right down in, right below, right next to the Amity wastewater. It's a...
That might be Linfield.
Well, they finally started
it's like
rehabbing.
Phoenixville, Pottstown area.
Oh, this is like right up here before you get into Pottstown off 422.
Oh.
They're finally starting to renovate it, but it was all just abandoned original homes from
There's an entire abandoned distillery in Phoenixville.
Is there really?
Oh yeah, it's acres. And you're not allowed to go in there, and the buildings are really dark inside, even during the day.
From what you've read, right?
From what I've read.
Yeah, yeah.
From what I've been told.
Well, that's the same like the...
Like, we're talking, you shine a flashlight, you can't see the other wall dark.
Well, that's... Penhurst is like that, too, isn't it?
Not anymore. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Penhurst is cool inside.
They've
got seatbelts on their toilets.
From what I've read, it was very cool inside.
Yes. No, I've been there with the property owner. I've been inside, yes.
Yeah, I read an article about it once.
Yeah. But they have seatbelts on their toilets. I just
I've eaten a Taco Bell. I can understand why you need a seatbelt on a toilet.
Yeah, we had a tour from the property owner one time. It was
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And he debunked almost everything that Ghost Adventures did when they were in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's another one like that in Ohio, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like the tunnel system for the tuberculosis patients?
Yeah. Yep. Well, Penhurst has tunnels underneath too.
Maybe I'm thinking of Penhurst then.
But
well, Penhurst was
Penhurst started as tuberculosis and then moved to
Okay.
an asylum and then closed in the 70s-ish, maybe?
I know they were closed for a while.
And pretty much when they closed, they just kind of opened the doors and said, "Okay, children, go."
Oh, there's a place like that in West Virginia too.
Mhm.
It's an old elementary school or something that just left abandoned.
They became homeless people living on the streets of Pottstown and Phoenixville.
Well, figure like New
We'll
Orleans.
have to do an episode on Penhurst too.
Figure like New Orleans after Katrina. There's still buildings that are still have to,
Yeah, but these were the patients of the asylum.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, by now they can't be around still. But yeah, so that's Helltown. I feel like I read an article about it, and I thought it was a really interesting read. And that's why I started looking into it. But out of everything I read probably like 5 or 6 different ones, and there were only a handful that would validate others.
Gotcha.
So I took a lot out from what I was reading.
Makes sense.
And there's also not much history on like the beginning of Boston when it started, which I thought was
Maybe we can do a story on Linfield, because I think you're allowed to go there. It's on state game lands.
I don't see why you wouldn't be allowed to go
So
there.
we can actually get some like boots on the ground.
Actually go there and
Yeah.
investigate.
Yeah.
I mean, I like creepy abandoned places.
Me too. When it's above daylight, and when it's above 30 degrees outside.
Yeah, yeah.
The weather lately hasn't.
Well, you don't
been...
want to go when it's 8?
No. I didn't even want to go out of my house to come here.
8 with a foot of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Let's go do that.
Not my cup of tea.
But yeah, so that's Helltown.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll have another episode next week. I've got an episode coming about a guy who checked into a bar and has yet to leave.
My kind of place.
So like, subscribe, follow, comment.
All of the above.
All of the above. Thanks for watching.
Have a good one.